They found the wagon just after sunrise. It stood alone beside the trail, wheels still half covered in dust from the previous day's travel. The animals were gone, the supplies were still inside, but the family who owned it had disappeared. Without a trace. Welcome to Frontier History Archive, where we explore frontier history and life at the edge of civilization. During westward migration in the 1800s, wagon trains stretched across hundreds of miles of difficult terrain. Most journeys were slow, exhausting, and predictable. But sometimes, travelers encountered scenes they never forgot. One of the most families depended on them completely for shelter, supplies, and protection. Leaving one behind meant losing nearly everything needed to survive. Yet accounts exist of wagons discovered alone along remote stretches of trail. Often they appeared untouched. Cooking tools remained inside. Blankets were neatly folded. Barrels of food sat unopened. Sometimes even personal belongings were left exactly where they had been placed, which made the situation even more unsettling, because nothing suggested a struggle. Travelers who came across such wagons searched nearby areas carefully. They followed footprints when visible. They scanned the landscape for movement, but many reported finding nothing at all. To understand how this could happen, we have to consider what frontier travel was really like. Wagon trains moved slowly but constantly. Families walked beside wagons for hours each day. Fatigue was common, illness spread easily, and conditions changed quickly depending on weather and terrain. Separation could happen faster than expected. A single delay, repairing a wheel, tending to an animal, or searching for water could place a family behind the main group. And once distance increased, catching up became difficult. But still, disappearance without signs remained rare. Some historians suggest illness played a role. Diseases such as cholera moved quickly along trails. Entire families sometimes weakened within days. If travelers became too sick to continue, they might leave the trail temporarily seeking shelter or water. Others believe environment was responsible. Dust storms across the plains reduced visibility to almost nothing. Travelers caught in sudden storms could become disoriented quickly. And then there were the rivers. Crossings were dangerous and unpredictable. Strong currents separated wagons. Some families were forced downstream unexpectedly, away from main routes. Still, many cases remained unexplained. Diaries mention wagons discovered with no nearby graves, no clear tracks, and no signs of travel in any direction. For travelers passing by, such sights created unease, because they reminded everyone of something simple. On the frontier, distance and silence could hide almost anything. For the travelers who discovered abandoned wagons, the experience rarely felt ordinary. Diaries often describe long pauses beside the trail, as groups quietly inspected what had been left behind. Some searched the surrounding ground carefully, hoping to find footprints or signs of direction. But often, the land revealed nothing. Wind erased tracks quickly across the plains. Hard ground preserved few marks, and in dry regions, even recent movement disappeared within hours. Still, travelers tried to understand what had happened. Some believed the explanation was practical. Illness remained one of the most common threats on westward trails. Cholera outbreaks could spread rapidly through wagon trains, leaving families too weak to continue. In such cases, some travelers may have left their wagons temporarily seeking water or shade, only to become separated from their route. Others pointed to storms. Dust storms could arrive suddenly, reducing visibility to only a few feet. Travelers caught alone might lose direction completely, especially in open country with few landmarks. And at night, the risks increased. Darkness made navigation difficult. Sounds traveled strangely across open land. A wrong decision after sunset could place travelers miles from safety by morning. But not all explanations were environmental. Rivers created some of the most dangerous situations. Strong currents could separate families from wagons during crossings. Animals could break free unexpectedly in chaotic conditions. People often focused first on survival rather than recovering supplies. Then there were quieter possibilities. Some historians believe certain wagons were abandoned deliberately. Families facing extreme hardship sometimes made difficult decisions about what they could carry forward. But the emotional effect on other travelers remained the same. Discovering an empty wagon reminded everyone how fragile frontier journeys truly were. It forced people to think about distance, uncertainty, and how easily plans could change. And often, the discovery changed behavior. After encountering abandoned wagons, travelers became more cautious. Camps stayed closer together. Guards watched more carefully at night. Groups moved with greater awareness of each member's condition. The empty wagon became a warning, not of one specific danger, but of the frontier itself. Because westward travel was never guaranteed. Every mile depended on preparation, cooperation, and sometimes luck. They reminded travelers of something simple. On the frontier, survival often depended not on strength alone, but on staying together. Thank you for watching Frontier History Archive, where we explore frontier history and life at the edge of civilization. Until next time, goodbye from Frontier History Archive.